For this video, I want to show you a new report that was created to deal with the new income categories column that EasyAs created. If I go into reports, you will see that we have total of all income. This is the original report, which showed us a breakup of the income method, the totals of income with a breakup of income method. Now we also have another report, a different report, that deals with the income categories. And it's going to show you a breakup of the income categories and the amounts. Now, if you have a look at the bottom here, it tells us that this report is only going to display the totals that have been added against an income category. It's not going to show any totals against any category. It's not going to show any entry that was not included against a category. None of that's making any sense, is it? Let me show you, because I even confused myself then. Let me show. Its example is far better. If I jump into income, I'm going to delete some of these categories. So bear with me. I'm just going to jump away and delete some stuff. I'm going to swap some stuff around to make it nice and simple, because there's too much stuff on that screen a minute ago. Okay, jumping into the income screen, let's have a look at this. What I've done is I've deleted a lot of the categories out of the system. Okay, I did that deliberately so as that I could show you another way of using the income categories section. Previously, we discussed it might have been someone from a country where it was ideal for them to split up materials versus labour. That's not going to be applicable for a lot of users. However, here's another way you might want to use the income categories if it's usable. Let's say I've got a business that happens to employ 2 or 3 subbies. They might each do the same job. They might be installing, it might be an installer for a Windows blinds company or something like that. And I might have a few subbies that I use that go out and perform tasks. So as they perform a task and they receive payment from the client, I might want to use this income categories as a way of assigning that income against that subcontractor. That way, at the end of the year, I can see who's really performing and who's not performing. Or each month, I might see who's making me the most money, or whatever it might be. It's just a way of you to categorizing who did that job. It might be that you simply don't care about the category. You don't care about finding totals. You just want to see who did that job. And there's a quick reference for you. Instead of going back to a diary, you've got a quick reference on your screen. Oh, Susan did that job. Because the client might be ringing up complaining about something. There's a way to use the income categories in a completely different format. So for this scenario, there might be a lot of entries which have nothing to do with a subcontractor going out on site. It might be an income from sales or something from your office, whatever it might be, nothing to do with installation. So naturally, these are going to be left blank because you don't require anything there. Now, what's going to happen is, if you jump back to this screen, to the report section, and if I click income categories, now we see income against these 4 categories. What we're not going to see on this screen, if we have a look, I'm going to jump back. I'm going to make these totals a little bit more sensible. Make that. Okay, that's going to make more sense. Let me just jump out of that screen. Okay, down the bottom here we have a total of $382. Now, let me jump back to the income screen, and you will see that we actually have a total of $464. So what's going on? Why is there the difference? The difference is these entries which have nothing in there, which weren't part of an income category, do not or are not included in the totals of this report. Because otherwise we'd have a line that says blank with a total next to it. That's what this information is trying to tell you down the bottom here. Now, if you need this report to, if you need this particular report also to equal what's on the others on the income section, then you're going to have to create a category that's, maybe call it blank, or do nothing, give it a dash. As long as it's got something there, we've got 222, that could just easily be in a dash, a line. Can't be a blank spot, but you can have like a minus sign and use that as the category divider. Okay, one thing I do want to point out is, let's say you've selected a category, how do we get rid of it out of here? It's the same as the project group. If I actually didn't want, I selected the wrong one, I'm thinking, oh, how am I going to get rid of that there? Double click on that box. Well, double click, it's going to come up and say, do you want to remove this from this category? Click yes, and it disappears. See that? So now this line is no longer part of that category. And the same for that. So if I delete that, now when we go back to the income, the other income report, you'll see that now we only have totals against these figures here. These guys here have totals. This category still shows because it's a category in the system, but there's no income against it. So any category you have created, if you have income categories, if you have created 30 or 40 income categories, those income categories will show up in that report, but they will show up with a 0 if there's nothing against it. Okay, I think that's pretty self-explanatory now. I don't think I need to talk about any more about that report.